Hello there, welcome to this video in which I'm going to use I've Got a Crush on You, a nice jazz song in the key of B flat, to demonstrate one or two improvisation ideas. So this is a kind of indirect tutorial for the piece. I'll just play it quickly to give you an idea, and I'll just go straight into the exercises afterwards. It goes something like this, and as always, likes, comments, subscriptions are always welcome. Basically something like that. Now, the exercises I wanted to show you are about going by chord by chord and playing variations of your improvisation with each chord one by one as you go through the piece. So first of all, of course, it's in the key of B flat, and the first chord is a B flat. I've got a link also to the, well, I'll put the chords on the screen, and there's a link to my Google Drive where you can find the lead sheet. It is simply 1, and then this is a 6 chord, which is technically a G, and the G is being played as a whole diminished, which happens on the 6. But another way of seeing it is that it's the flat second, sorry, what was I talking about? The minor, I'm thinking of flat second in the key of C. It's the minor of B flat as a whole diminished. And that sounds quite nice when it drops down to a 2, 5. You can go back to 1, but if you notice I played a D, and on the lead sheet it also has a D minor, because if you remove the B flat from the bass, you get D minor 7. If you put the B flat in, you get B flat major 7 with a 9 on top. So it's quite a nice little trick there. So basically the chord progression is just 1 minor, whole diminished, 2, 5. You could call that 3, 6, 2, 5. That's basically it. So I'll just use that, and I'll give you this a little exercise. And the idea is that I've always said there's 3 ways to improvise to get you going: notes of the chord, notes of interest, and chromatic connections. So very basic idea. You're in the key of B flat, orientate yourself into the key of B flat so you don't get lost. And the first thing is to literally just play a little improvisation, a little melody, maybe a bar or 2 bars. You don't have to follow the music strictly because it's just an exercise. You can just do a simple little left hand accompaniment like that. You can do a stride if you want, your choice. You can even do a little walking bass using the notes of the chord. Do what you want so much with the left hand, it's your choice, but the right hand you want to just do as many variations as possible to kind of prove to yourself that you can improvise. So I'll just do, normally each chord is just 2 beats in this song, so I'll do it for 4 beats. And one example might be, I'm just looking at the notes of the chord only, B flat major 7, but I'm seeing it everywhere. I was going to play a little idea. 4 beats I'm doing, not 2. I'll make it quicker in a moment. Let's do another one. So you're going to do another one. So I put a little grace note in there. I don't remember all the ones I'm going to do, but if you go back and put them all together, you'll have a nice little list for yourself. So let's do another one. You see, every single time it's different. I might start all the way up here this time and just go down the chord, but in a kind of interesting melodic way. So I might go, how can I do this? Something like that. I'll just do one more just to get the point across. That was a kind of wrong note on purpose because I was going to do a passing tone, which is the next thing I'll talk about. Next one is third thing. Notes of interest. That's going to be 9 and often the flat 5. So F flat in the key of B flat. You can put a G in there for a 13. But the main thing is the 9 and the flat 5, just to get a bit of bluesy sound if you listen. Doesn't sound too bad. And in fact, when you're playing a flat 5 with a major 7, you'd rather call it a sharp 11, 8, 9, 10, 11 sharpened rather than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flattened, just for naming conventions, because flat 5 is normally associated with the bluesy kind of sound with dominant 7 chords. But when you're playing it with a major 7, it loses that blues. Even though it's a flat 5, you'd rather call it a sharp 11. Anyway, so you might do the same idea, just using that one chord, 4 beats, and see what comes out that time. That's quite nice. I played the major 7. I think I can remember that one. And then I played the sharp 11. Something like that. Then I went up to the 9 and back to the major 7. It's quite a nice one. I'll do another one. Ending on the sharp 11 that time. I'll do one more, starting on the 9 this time. Maybe I'll end on the F. So you get the idea. So that's your exercise. Now the next one is to do that at the right speed. So in this case, only 2 beats. So you'll have to have a shorter pattern here. That's all you've got. I'll do another one quickly. That was 9, and that was a 5, and I touched a sharp 11 in there as well. But the point that to make it even harder, you need to go to the next chord. So you're just building up step by step. Instead of overwhelming yourself with 2 beats per chord, and the chord is changing all the time, it's a bit too much. So just get really used to playing one chord type, 4 bars, or 4 beats, or 4 bars if you want, and then do it a bit shorter if you have to make it 2 beats, and then put 2 chords together. So this one, now we're going to do the B flat major 7 a bit shorter, just 2 beats, and we're going to go to D flat whole diminished. Let's make that one 4 beats instead of the 2 that it should be. So now I can see the notes of the chord. Notes of interest with the diminished, the 9 always works. What key are we in? So that would be this E flat in this key. D flat, the 9th is E flat. But with the diminished, you can kind of play anything really and it works. So look, 2 beats for the first one. See how I played the 6 there? It's quite nice. Nice little melody just using the notes of the chord. And of course passing tones, which I was going to add as a third thing, I could go something like go like that. Instead of playing literally the notes of the chord and having a big jump there, chromatically go to it. You don't do that all the time, otherwise your improvisations just become like, they just become very scaly. You just kind of chromatically move from one note to the next, only doing chromatic, a bit extreme. Of course you have some leaps and intervals sometimes, but the chromatic connections are maybe, I don't know, 20%, 30% maybe. So let's just see if I can do it with 2 beats each. That's quite nice. I chromatically went up to the start note of the next chord and went down the notes of that chord. So these are the kind of fun things that you do. Don't worry about the song, don't worry about the melody, you're just dealing with the chord progression, because if you can do it with these chords, you can do it with any chords in any song. So you just keep doing that. That's basically it. That's what you need to do. Now I'll move to the next chord, C minor 7, and notice how I had a little repetitive pattern there. I'm still playing notes of the new chord, and now when it comes to C minor 7, the next one, these 2 notes are also in the chord, so I don't need to change them. So let me just do that on purpose. Now can you feel a bit of tension? It sounds quite nice to play the 5 and the 3 of F, the next chord. I could have raised the 5th to get even more tension. So that's a nice little sort of, what's the word? I forget what the word is. Ornament? No, I forget what the word is. There's a word of the things you can do when you're improvising, which aren't just like, these are ornaments where you just have a grace note, a crush note, that kind of stuff. I forget what the word is. Anyway. See, I just did the same thing, but I just went into octaves that time. So that's just the idea. So you just keep going around that. So that one, I didn't do anything. Silence is also a note. Chromatic. I'm just going up to wherever I feel like I want to stop. It's like an extended chromatic connection, not knowing where I'm going. That is literally it. It's a nice little song, and that is a really nice way to practice improvisation. You just take one chord, you go to 2, you go to 3, you go to all the chords in the song, and you start with notes of the chord, add the 9 or 13 or flat 5, and then add chromatic connections sometimes. Very enjoyable. I've talked about it a few times, but I just thought this song was quite a nice example because it's very, very slow. And I would like to think if there's anything that I wanted to add, and I don't think there is. So I'll I'll leave it there, I guess, and hopefully it's been of use to you. As always, likes, comments, subscriptions are always welcome. Have a look at my video management website, Waterbeanism syllabus, perhaps Patreon, all the other goodies. See you in the next video. All the best, and bye for now.